The subway turns into an underground tomb, where a crowd of 2,000 people descends into chaos, and the instinct to survive consumes every trace of human dignity. Moscow, the capital of Russia and a massive metropolis, has long suffered from uncontrolled construction. Years of piling foundations deep into karst terrain have weakened the city's underground structure. The subway tunnel, built back in 1935, finally gives way to the pressure of underground water. Passing trains add constant vibrations, causing tiny cracks that break the tunnel's seal. During a routine night inspection, Sergeyich notices a small leak dripping from the ceiling and reports it to the station attendant. The warning is dismissed. The attendant assumes it's just groundwater seeping in after days of heavy rain. Meanwhile, a woman named Irina spends the evening with her lover instead of going home. Knowing her daughter is alone and her husband is on duty at the hospital, she meets with a wealthy businessman, hoping this affair might lead to a better life. She's afraid to divorce or confess to her husband, though she suspects Andrei already knows the truth. While she's chasing comfort, her husband, a surgeon, spends every minute saving lives, earning far less than he deserves. His dedication and low pay have driven a quiet wedge between them, one that Irina has tried to fill with betrayal. The next morning, Andrei returns home to find that Irina never came back. Realizing what that means, he tries to be a good father to their school-aged daughter. When she runs late for class, he offers to drive her, but their car is blocked by a neighbor. The only way to make it on time, the subway. At the same time, Vlad drops Irina off and decides to speak with her husband about their affair. Learning that Andrei has already left, Vlad heads to a business meeting, but traffic brings him to a standstill. With no time to waste, he too takes the subway, ending up, by sheer coincidence, on the very same train. Alongside them are 2,000 strangers, each with their own destination and one shared goal: to arrive on time. Among the passengers is Galina, a woman who had been drinking with Sergeyich before they both ran from the police. As the train departs, Sergeyich suddenly realizes the water he saw wasn't groundwater. It smelled of clay and river silt. River water. He tries to call the station to report the danger, but it's too late. He's already been detained and locked up. Moments later, the driver of train number 42 notices something unusual ahead. Peering into the darkness, he sees water bursting through the tunnel ceiling, flooding the passageway. Reacting too late, he slams on the brakes. The speeding train derails, skidding violently along the walls before crashing headlong into the collapsing tunnel and the surge of incoming water. As the train slams on the brakes and crashes, the passengers are trapped. They tumble over one another, piling up in chaos, completely losing control of the situation. Their bodies are thrown around the carriage like rag dolls. Many die instantly. Some people are hurled out the windows, while others are crushed by the stampeding crowd. It's a full-scale disaster, with the death toll rising every second. Those in the front cars are killed instantly as the collapsed concrete ceiling and shattered train parts bury them alive. Moments later, Andrei regains consciousness, disoriented and unsure what just happened. Surrounded by dozens of bodies, many already dead, he realizes he has to get out and find his daughter. Pushing aside a man lying on top of him, Andrei assumes he's dead, but to his relief, the man is still alive and manages to stand. Climbing out from the pile of the injured and the dead, Andrei panics, desperately searching for his daughter, terrified she's one of the victims. He reaches the spot where they were moments ago, but Ksyusha is gone. Panic grips him as the worst thoughts flood his mind. Meanwhile, Vlad smashes a window to escape. The other survivors follow his lead, climbing out of the mangled subway cars to evacuate. Unlike the rest, Vlad doesn't jump into the water, he climbs onto the train's roof, thinking it's safer there. Crawling between the swaying cars, he watches them rock dangerously from side to side, crushing more people beneath the wreckage. The massive steel carriages continue to grind and collapse, and Vlad realizes he made the right choice by heading toward the rear of the train. Through one of the windows, he spots Andrei, frantically searching for his daughter. When a group of thugs attacks Andrei, trying to kill him, Vlad rushes in to help. He strikes one of the attackers over the head with a metal pipe, driving the others away. After checking the car, Andrei helps Mikhail to his feet and spots his daughter lying under a bench. Carefully, he checks her pulse and injuries, relieved to find that Ksyusha is alive and unharmed. Elsewhere, Denis regains consciousness and sees the carnage around him, bodies everywhere. Even in this nightmare, some passengers take advantage of the chaos instead of helping others. One brazen young man robs the dead and steals Denis's phone while he's still dazed from a head injury, then bolts to escape with the others. Meanwhile, the station dispatcher notices that the doomed train signal isn't moving on the radar. It's stuck midway through the tunnel. Trying to figure out what's going on, he contacts the driver of another train on the same line, who reports he's stopped because the signal ahead is red, indicating a delay. Moments later, the dispatcher's assistant reports that all the water pumps are running at full capacity, meaning the tunnel is flooding. The subway has become a disaster zone, and the true scale of the catastrophe is beyond imagination. After consulting with upper management, the station dispatcher decides to shut off the power rail, but he has to wait until the next train moves into a different feeder zone. Knowing that people's lives are at stake, the train operator and his young assistant, Vasily, quickly leave the lead car and head to the last one to reverse direction. While hundreds of people wade through the flooded tunnel trying to escape the catastrophe, the operator and his assistant struggle to drive their train back to the station. The train moves slowly and keeps stopping, costing them precious minutes. Just as the train clears the danger zone, the dispatcher cuts power to the rail, and immediately sees an error light flash on his control panel. A short circuit had occurred moments earlier, electrocuting everyone who hadn't yet managed to escape the flooded section of the tunnel. Meanwhile, Irina, still at work, keeps trying to call her husband and daughter, unaware that they are trapped in the subway with no idea what to do next. Andrei suggests they climb down, but Vlad disagrees, knowing the third rail might still be live. Andrei bandages Mikhail's broken arm as the following train finally makes it back to the station. Metro management urgently closes off the tunnels and orders an immediate evacuation. Panic spreads quickly, many people lose control, and several are crushed by the terrified crowd. Dennis learns that Elisa suffers from asthma and could suffocate without her inhaler. During the crash, she lost her bag and can't find it, meaning she could die any minute. Determined to save the girl he likes, Dennis does everything he can, and succeeds. At the same time, Vlad uses the small dog, Tyopka, as a test subject. He tosses the dog into the water to see if it's safe. When the animal swims unharmed, he realizes they can begin evacuating without risking electrocution. The cars keep shifting, so it's safer to move inside. On their way to the last car, Vlad, Andrei, Ksyusha, and Mikhail come across the only other survivor, Galina. Meanwhile, Dennis and Elisa are also trying to get out, but they're doing it outside the train. Suddenly, one of the cars starts moving, pressing down on Dennis. He forces the door open so Elisa can climb inside and urges her to go. Dennis realizes he's trapped and about to be crushed in half, but the brief encounter between them has already turned into love. Refusing to abandon her rescuer, Elisa desperately tries to pull him free. Meanwhile, those who manage to escape the water and survive the electric shock reach the metro station. When onlookers see the chaos, panic erupts again, and people flee toward the surface, only adding to the mounting death toll of the disaster. For many, it becomes a real tragedy. Some lose their husbands, brothers, or mothers, while journalists seize the opportunity to create a sensation. The police try to limit access, but a cunning reporter and cameraman still manage to publish the footage, which instantly spreads across all TV channels. Irina learns about the disaster from the news and calls the school to find out where her daughter is. Realizing that Ksyusha is neither at home nor at school, Irina understands that her daughter and husband are on that very train. Nearly fainting, she rushes to her car and speeds toward the scene. On the way, she calls Vlad for help, not knowing that he's just as trapped by the situation as her own family. Meanwhile, the emergency services hold a crisis meeting to assess the scale of the disaster. The metropolis is nearly paralyzed by rush-hour traffic, preventing rescuers and police from reaching the site and beginning the evacuation. The flooding of a single metro line is only the beginning. The catastrophe could have global consequences. If the tunnel collapses, it could cause further ground subsidence in central Moscow. Worse, half the city could sink underwater, resulting in millions of casualties. The quickest way to stop it is to seal off the affected area with airtight doors and flood it with liquid nitrogen. Burov disagrees with this plan and decides to delay the order, giving rescuers more time to save lives. He knows that isolating this section could prevent a citywide disaster, but everyone trapped inside the tunnel would be doomed. On her way to the scene, Irina gets into a car accident, but even that doesn't stop her. She abandons the car and runs toward the station, hoping her husband and daughter are safe. Meanwhile, Mikhail, Vlad, Galina, Andrei, and Ksyusha manage to climb out of the train and start heading toward the nearest station. They're soon joined by Dennis and Elisa, but moments later, a massive wave crashes into them. Holding on to each other, they survive, but their ordeal is far from over. The wave wasn't caused by incoming water, but by collapsing rocks that broke the connection between the cars. The last car detached and began rolling after them, turning into a deadly threat. Seeing the multi-ton metal car racing toward them, the group hides in a hole in the tunnel wall leading to a maintenance shaft. Mikhail, terrified, refuses to crawl inside, insisting they should keep moving forward. Convinced he's right, he tries to run, but with every step, the car draws closer until it finally crushes him to death. The remaining survivors find themselves in total darkness, disoriented and unsure of what's happening. Then Ksyusha comes to the rescue. Her necklace turns out to have a small built-in flashlight. Vlad smiles, glad she liked his gift, which only irritates Andrei. In that instant, Andrei realizes that Vlad isn't just an old classmate and friend. He's also his wife's lover, the man she spends time with between business trips. Trying to push the thought away and focus on saving his daughter, Andrei falls into brief despair. The others find a door leading to an adjacent chamber and manage to get inside. Eventually, they discover a small bunker built during the metro's original construction. From there, they reach a vertical maintenance shaft at least 7 meters high, ending with a storm drain grate somewhere above ground, right under a busy street. Shouting for help is useless. The street noise drowns everything out. Their phones can't get a signal either, as layers of earth and concrete block radio waves. Realizing they have to act, the group decides to tear off the grate several meters above them. Finding a metal barrel and a pipe, Dennis, Andrei, and Vlad take turns striking the frame, then hang onto it to loosen it. When they finally succeed, Dennis climbs up higher, but still can't make a call. At one point, he nearly drops the phone into the water, but luckily, Galina, who used to play handball, catches it just in time. The last train car crashes into the tunnel wall, blocking the flow of water and causing the maintenance rooms and bunker to start flooding. The group realizes that if they don't find a way out soon, the rising water will bury them alive. Desperation gives them strength to act, but no one seems to notice their efforts, and hope for rescue begins to fade. At that moment, Elisa realizes she's lost her inhaler again and starts having an asthma attack. Dennis, willing to risk his life for her, dives into the already flooded maintenance area. Finding the inhaler, he feels like a hero once more, until a floating corpse terrifies him, causing him to drop his flashlight. In total darkness, Dennis loses his sense of direction and starts to drown. Anticipating this, Elisa uses hairspray and a lighter to ignite a small flame as a signal. Luckily, Dennis spots it and swims back, saving not only himself but also the girl he loves. Rescue teams moving through the tunnel find another survivor. Leaving one rescuer with him, 2 others continue deeper inside, hoping there are more people still alive. Meanwhile, Irina finally arrives at the scene, but neither Andrei nor Ksyusha appear on the lists of survivors or the injured sent to hospitals. As the bunker continues to flood, the group clings to a metal barrel. As the water lifts them higher, Vlad manages to get a weak phone signal and calls Irina, telling her they're trapped in a bunker and giving approximate coordinates. Hearing this, Vasily, the train operator's assistant and an avid urban explorer, immediately understands where they are and offers his help. The reporter also overhears the call and uses a fake police ID to pressure rescuers into searching for the specific storm drain. It seems that everyone finally knows where the survivors are and that help is on the way, but then everything changes. The last metro car splits apart, and a massive surge of water bursts through the tunnel. The water level in the bunker suddenly drops, dragging the group back into the tunnel. Moments later, they check on each other and realize Galina has vanished. 5 minutes later, Vasily and the rescue team arrive at the bunker, but it's empty. Seeing the wet walls, rescuers inform Irina that everyone inside is likely dead. Devastated, she feels utterly helpless. At one point, she's ready to step off the edge and end it all, but others manage to stop her. When the water finally recedes, Dennis, Elisa, Andrei, and Ksyusha resume their attempt to escape. Vlad has injured his leg but soon catches up with them. After a few minutes, the group reaches an abandoned station and climbs onto the platform to rest. Still tense and exhausted, Dennis loses control and starts venting his frustration. He's a wealthy, successful man, but fate trapped him here, and now he believes they're doomed. As a construction executive, he knows the city authorities will likely seal the tunnel and flood it with liquid nitrogen, killing anyone left inside. The others beg him to stay calm, but Vlad keeps making bitter comments. He blames everything on his lover Irina, saying her delay is the only reason he was forced to take the subway that day. Insulting Irina right in front of Andrei, Vlad provokes his former friend. A brutal fight breaks out, and neither Dennis nor Ksyusha can stop it. Consumed by rage, Andrei nearly drowns Vlad, but the brawl is cut short by a distant scream. It's Galina, miraculously still alive. The survivors hear her voice, as do the rescuers who've been searching all this time. Relief washes over everyone, but it's short-lived. The area where the train got stuck collapses completely. The ceiling caves in, and torrents of water flood the tunnel. The rescuers radio in the situation while Vlad pleads with them not to seal the door and to save them. Despite knowing his daughter is inside, Andrei insists they must close the airtight barrier, otherwise, millions will die. The command center gives the order, and the tunnel is sealed off just seconds before a global catastrophe. The water level begins to rise again, lifting the survivors toward the surface. They manage to signal that they're still alive. Vasily is the first to notice and quickly calls his team to assist, launching an urgent evacuation. The survivors climb out through the grate to the street. Ksyusha is the first to see the sunlight, and her mother. She runs to Irina and throws her arms around her. Elisa and Dennis, now in love and deeply bonded by their ordeal, are taken to the hospital. Andrei sees his wife but ignores her, pulling his hand away to avoid her touch. At the same time, Vlad's assistant arrives, reminding him about an urgent business meeting and asking him to hurry. Andrei, though avoiding Irina, is forced to share the same ambulance with her so they and their daughter can be examined at the hospital. Before the vehicles leave, they stop for a brief moment, just long enough for Tyopka, their little dog, to leap into Ksyusha's arms. Can fear truly reveal who we are, or does it just strip us down to our most primal instincts? Share your thoughts in the comments down below, hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video.